Welcome back to Two Opinions on a Cloud. As always, this is Max Fritz.
And this is Stacy Deere-Strole.
And
I'm
our
Brian Alderman.
cloud today is Brian Alderman.
Just chiming right in, Speakers do.
That's how it works.
That's
Exactly
right. Right, so there's no script. It's, you know, write your own.
Okay, right, man. What do you want to talk about?
Well, me personally, I want to know how you're dealing with all these changes with Microsoft. I mean, you're a man of training. You train. So how do you keep up with all that?
Constantly reading blogs, specifically from like Cashman, Bill Bear, McNulty, just kind of seeing what they're saying because they do a good job in sharing what's coming up and what's new and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feed from that, see what's the hot topics out from there, and kind of work with it from there. And then that's just giving me an idea of what I need to get exposed to. And then there's actually digging in and trying to figure out, okay, and I need to learn this because I need to deliver it pretty soon to someone else, and I don't want to overview it. I want to make sure I give them the details and the pros and the cons and ups and downs of everything.
So how do you deal with when you're working with Office 365 and you're training individuals on SharePoint or you know the new sites or anything about, hey, next Tuesday there's going to be some changes, right?
Yeah.
So how are you handling that?
Well, I subscribe to the roadmap that they have, so I get an email every Monday to see what's coming up, and I kind of glance through that. What's first? What's second? What's third? What do I need to know the soonest? What I need to either blog about or tweet about, so people, as soon as I know, it's as it gets closer, as a release gets closer, I tweet or blog more about it. So I might give people a heads up, say, hey, this is coming, but as it gets closer, oh, by the way, next Tuesday, this is going to go in effect, you know. So I kind of keep an eye on, I use the roadmap quite a bit for keeping abreast of what's going on and when it's going to be releasing, and kind of peak the urgency of it as it gets closer to release date.
So how would you recommend, like, for those average IT admins out there, how do they keep up with this? I mean, because this is your full-time job, and we have similar jobs to, we have to be informed on this to keep our clients abreast. But
yeah, well, the Office 365 roadmap, it's easily accessible. The Office 365 Admin Center, it's up on the left-hand, well, navigation always, yeah. So Office 365 Admin Center, there's an option for follow along or keep informed.
Right.
Whatever it's called this week, click on that, subscribe to it. You'll get an email. I think it's every Monday.
Yep.
Just kind of keeps you up to date with what's going on, and you can tweak it. So if you don't want to know about Exchange, you can say, I want to focus on SharePoint. I want to focus on Teams. I want to focus on some different components, but not everything. You can tweak it so you're getting information that's relevant to yourself.
I believe we're talking about the Message Center.
Yeah, Message Center. Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking
I'm
for.
demoing that later today.
Oh,
awesome.
Good. Yeah. And just I always point that out whenever I go in there. Even if I'm not teaching, if I even just stop for Office 365 Admin Center for a second, I just drop down the Message Center. This is probably the most important piece of information that you can get off from this interface right here. Just subscribe to this, get this in your email, grab a beer on a Monday morning, coffee on Monday morning, and just read through this.
Whatever.
You kind of know whatever's in your refrigerator.
Wine,
if you work from home,
juice,
it could
mimosa.
be anything. But and you just kind of peruse through that and just hit the highlights and you kind of see what's going on, and it's kind of chronological. As things get closer, it'll kind of get closer to the top. What I've seen, so you can just kind of keep an eye on it. Like, it might be down 7 articles this week, and then 3 weeks when it gets closer, it might be the 3rd or 4th article because it's coming up sooner.
And they do a good job of identifying a feature versus a fix or a bug.
Yeah.
Right? They're color coding, putting special,
Yeah, I think it's one of the best pieces of information that you can subscribe to that really keeps you aware of what's going on, how soon it's going to be happening. And things.
I call it the last line of defense as an IT admin to knowing what's going on. Because there are blogs out there on tech community. There are the personal blogs from these individuals on the product teams. There's the Office 365 roadmap that's publicly available. But if you're looking for, like, all right, I need one source that's going to catch everything, the Message Center is really where you need to be.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Yes.
So you did a session this morning, I believe?
Yes, I did a session on. What was my session this morning?
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
SharePoint Saturday Denver, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. And I had the very first session after the keynote, and I did it on integrating Office Online Server with SharePoint on-prem, SharePoint 2016, 13. I actually talked about all three. SharePoint 2010 was OWA, Office Web Apps, and then went to 2013 and 16. And now 19, I can add 19 for Office Online Server. So I walked through all the steps and what you need to do, what it all is first, because a lot of people are like, why do I even need this? So I don't even have Office installed in the image that I use. I open up a Word document in WordPad. So this is all I have right now. Then I went in and I configured one image, which is where SharePoint SQL was, and I have another image is where I installed Office Online Server. Got the two talking within the 45-minute session. So I went back to that same document, opened it up in Word Online, and people, it was all said and done. So I emphasized the fact it's PowerShell based, so it's GUI. So you're looking for a GUI interface, that's not going to happen. There's only probably less than 2 dozen commands you need to know for just getting Office Online Server ready, and then getting the communication configured between SharePoint and Office Online.
And there are various reasons that we're not going to get into today to remain on premises, whether it's Exchange or Skype or SharePoint. And the really cool thing about Office Online Server is it brings some of those collaboration and web-based editing features into all of those products.
Yes.
So it's not just SharePoint integrated. You can have that same server talk to your Exchange team, for example.
File shares, you get a viewer in there. It's not, you can't do edits, but you view at least.
I think all those things are great segues into moving to the next part of their roadmap, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's just it's a cool. It used to be, like I said, it used to be OWA, Office Web Apps. If you've heard that term, they just renamed it, and I like it's not too difficult to set up. It's not too difficult to manage, and it just provides. And like you had mentioned, it used to be back in 2010, it was a service app.
Right.
So each SharePoint farm had to have a Word automation service app or a PowerPoint service app. Now they just spun it off to a completely separate SKU. I can build one Office Online Server farm, and I can host 12 SharePoint farms, Exchange servers, file shares.
Yeah, they
can all access it.
And this is the same technology they're using in the cloud. They in their SharePoint servers that they're hosting for SharePoint Online, they stopped doing it there, so they figured,
and you get the preview version. The nice thing about the Office Online Server, or OWA even did this as well, is if you do a search, you come back with results, and you got 40 results, and you're trying to figure out, I think it was Stacy sent me a Word document. You can, all right, let's filter in a Word document. And then you can just preview it. Just a little thumbnail pops up. You can actually scroll right through the document to see if this is the document you're looking for without even having to open it. You don't even need Word installed.
Yeah, I love that, especially when you can start using the search web parts, and then you can visualize those things as well.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the coolest thing since sliced bread when that came out.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Brian, one more question.
Sure.
Max and I, we were both at Ignite, and we missed you. We know you weren't there.
No.
But we know you kept up on things. Because I saw you blogging and I saw you tweeting. What did you hear about Ignite that most excited you?
The most, well, this could be a tough one. Obviously I'm more SharePoint. I live in the SharePoint. I've been doing SharePoint since 2007, so I just live and breathe SharePoint and Office 365. But I like what they've done with Teams. I mean, I like the fact that where they're going with it. They got to get private channels figured out. I think that's just around the corner. Get that done. I like the hub sites. I think those are very, very cool. I like the mega menu. I think that was seems kind of it seems like it's just a menu, but I thought that was really a cool announcement there.
Yeah, so the mega menu was huge for me because one of the things I always thought was the worst, especially when is really doing a global navigation in SharePoint.
Yeah.
We never really had the tools to do that.
Right.
So you develop it using managed metadata and all that kind of stuff.
Or you get an internet in a box, which has its place. It's
right,
awesome.
Everything has a time and a place, right? But now, you don't have to develop that anymore. It's out of the box, and it's on all the sites. All those things we've been wanting for years, and we don't have to have development around it. So I was very excited about the mega menu, and as soon as it came out, I was contacting some of my clients. So I was all excited about it.
We finally have a solution for the navigation.
Exactly, because with from the modern sites, you can't use the managed metadata navigation. It wipes it out now. So instead of redeveloping it, I was excited the mega menu.
I know with SharePoint on-prem 2019 is releasing soon. It's most of that release is really about the modern look, smell, taste, and feel on-prem. I don't know what components that were announced out of Ignite that will Mega Menu make it to 2019 on-prem? I'm going to guess not, but I'm hoping eventually somewhere down the road.
Maybe in a feeture pack down the road.
Yeah, maybe they'll just add it as as a feature, because I think they're going to get I think it's a wow factor for a lot of people. And I think that the use of it and the popularity of it will hopefully help influence getting some of these cooler features in the on-prem version.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Brian, if people want to keep up with you and learn more from you, where can they go?
Best thing to do is follow my blog. It's www.microtechpoint.com, and Brian's blog, and then my Twitter handle is Brian Alderman. I tweet news and events and conferences and things like that. So, and my email address is brian@microtechpoint.com. Those are the three primary ways to kind of see what I'm doing. My conference schedule, I do about 15 conferences a year, is up on my microtechpoint.com site as well.
Or if you just want to stalk him, there you go.
There you go.
Or if you're looking for a great email address to put in for those newsletters you don't want to be a part of, rewind this video about 20 seconds.
Yes.
You got
That
it.
would do email address. Also, I can just junk mail it. What did I do?
All right, Brian, thanks so much for joining us. We hope to see you guys next time. Feel free to subscribe, leave comments, and thanks,
Sounds
Brian.
good. Thanks so much.